Humanity's unyielding resolve. The morning skies over Earth's major cities were bathed in an eerie crimson glow as an alien armada emerged from hyperspace. Unlike anything seen before, these vessels shimmered with an iridescent hue, their surfaces flowing like liquid metal. The largest of these ships, a colossal triangular behemoth, positioned itself over Geneva, casting an ominous shadow over the headquarters of the United Nations. On board the flagship Astrodominus, High Commander Xiron observed the Earth below with a mix of disdain and curiosity. Primitive, chaotic, unworthy of integration, he muttered, his elongated fingers gliding. You said, start with part 1 more unique and lengthy. ChatGPT said, ChatGPT Part 1, the arrival that shook the world. It began with an unusual celestial event, a swirling aurora that lit up the skies over Earth in shades of green and gold, visible from every corner of the planet. Scientists scrambled to explain the phenomenon, but the answers came too late. Before dawn could break across the Atlantic, the skies darkened, not with storm clouds, but with the massive shadow of an alien fleet descending into orbit. The largest ship, a city-sized monolith with a gleaming black hull, stationed itself above the Pacific Ocean, visible from multiple continents. At the heart of Earth's response was Captain Ethan Reiner, a decorated officer aboard the ESS Aegis, Earth's first quantum-powered stealth warship. Ethan was stationed at the cutting-edge research and military hub known as Atlas Command, hidden beneath the Antarctic ice. Years of preparation for potential extraterrestrial contact had sharpened his instincts, but nothing had prepared him for the enormity of what he now faced. The global networks buzzed with images and videos of the alien fleet. Cities fell silent as people stared at their screens or gazed up at the sky, where the enormous crafts hovered silently, their technology defying every human concept of aerodynamics. Speculation ran wild. Were they here to trade, to teach, or to conquer? A message from the unknown. Then the broadcast came. Across every frequency, every screen, and every speaker, a single voice resonated, a voice calm yet chillingly authoritative. People of Earth, the message began, spoken in flawless human languages, as though the speaker had plucked the words directly from Earth's collective consciousness. We are the Union of Galactic Concord, protectors of peace and order. Your species has been observed and evaluated. You are hereby deemed a Class 3 threat due to your history of aggression and reckless technological pursuits. The message cut to live footage of Earth's most destructive moments: wars, environmental catastrophes, and violent entertainment. The voice continued, effective immediately. Earth is placed under quarantine. We will establish monitoring stations and ensure compliance with galactic law. Resistance will result in irreversible consequences. In Geneva, the United Nations scrambled to issue a unified response. Leaders from every major nation convened in an emergency session, their faces pale with fear and determination. The Secretary-General, Maria Alvarez, a figure known for her calm under pressure, addressed the global audience. To the people of Earth, stay strong, stay united. We will not allow our future to be dictated by those who do not understand us. The hidden might of humanity. Unbeknownst to the general public, Earth's leaders had been preparing for this moment. For decades, humanity had worked in secret to develop advanced technology far beyond what the aliens seemed to have observed. The Quantum Defense Initiative had birthed marvels hidden from prying eyes. Cloaked fleets, Mars-based manufacturing hubs, and the Erebus Protocol, a series of countermeasures designed to disrupt alien technology. At Atlas Command, Captain Reiner gathered his crew in the ship's war room, where a holographic display projected a live feed of the alien fleet. His chief engineer, Dr. Alina Voronov, a brilliant scientist who had played a key role in developing Earth's quantum shielding, analyzed the data. Their ships emit a unique energy signature, she said, her Russian accent cutting through the tense atmosphere. They're powerful, but they're not invulnerable. If we can disrupt their energy fields, we might have a chance. Ethan nodded, his mind racing. We'll need to keep our technology hidden until we're ready to strike. The element of surprise is our best weapon. The alien landing. While Earth's leaders strategized, the aliens made their first physical appearance. A sleek, disc-shaped craft descended from the massive mothership and landed in the middle of Times Square in New York. Crowds of onlookers gathered, their fear mixed with awe. From the ship emerged three figures, tall and slender, their metallic skin reflecting the city lights. The lead alien, who introduced itself as Primarch Veltron, addressed the crowd. Humans, your time of reckless independence is over. We will guide you to a future free from your destructive tendencies. But the tone was not one of benevolence, it was one of control. Veltron's words were met with murmurs of defiance. Humanity's spirit of rebellion had always been its defining trait. One voice rose above the crowd, a young woman named Ava Chen, a journalist live-streaming the event. "Who are you to decide our future?" she demanded, her voice shaking but resolute. "You don't understand us. We're more than our mistakes." Veltron regarded her with what could only be described as disdain. "Your words are irrelevant. Compliance is not optional." The first sparks of resistance. As the alien delegation returned to their craft, a group of cyber activists known as the Echo Network hacked into the alien broadcast system. Their defiant message was short but powerful. "We are not a primitive species. We are humanity, and we will not bow." The hack sent ripples through global media, igniting a spark of rebellion. People across the world began organizing, sharing knowledge, and rallying behind a single message: humanity would fight for its future. At Atlas Command, the defiance only strengthened Captain Reiner's resolve. "They think they've seen all we have to offer," he said, addressing his crew. "They think we're predictable, but they've underestimated what we're capable of when we're pushed to the brink." Dr. Voronov smirked. "They've studied our history. They should know by now. We're at our best when we're cornered." The crew erupted into determined cheers, the fear in their hearts replaced with a burning desire to prove humanity's worth. A plan forms. With tensions escalating, Earth's leaders finalized their strategy. Using cloaked ships and advanced ally-guided weapons, they would strike at the alien fleet's weakest points, testing their defenses while keeping humanity's full capabilities hidden. The first phase of the plan was simple: disrupt the alien monitoring stations before they could fully deploy. Captain Reiner and the ESS Aegis were chosen to lead the charge. As the crew prepared for their mission, Reiner stood on the ship's bridge, looking out at the stars. "History is watching," he said softly. "Let's show them what humanity is made of." As the Aegis activated its cloaking systems and slipped into the darkness of space, Earth's resistance began. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity, for all its flaws, was a force to be reckoned with. Humanity strikes back. The alien fleet had underestimated Earth, but not without reason. From their perspective, humanity was a young, chaotic species, prone to infighting and driven by unchecked ambition. Their scans showed primitive energy signatures, fossil-fueled engines, and fractured political systems, a civilization barely emerging from its adolescence. What they didn't see, hidden beneath layers of secrecy and quantum shielding, was humanity's greatest strength, its ability to adapt, innovate, and resist. In the icy depths of Antarctica, Atlas Command was alive with activity. Satellite feeds and encrypted communications connected Earth's hidden military and scientific facilities. Captain Ethan Reiner, now fully briefed on the mission ahead, stood before his crew in the ESS Aegis war room. The holographic display showed the alien fleet's deployment patterns, symmetrical, predictable, and vulnerable. "Listen up," Ethan began, his voice calm but commanding. "The alien monitoring stations are the first step in their occupation. If they complete deployment, Earth will be under their constant surveillance and control. That cannot happen." A calculated first strike. The plan was ambitious but precise. Using the Aegis's cloaking technology, Ethan and his crew would infiltrate the alien fleet's perimeter, disable their monitoring stations, and gather intelligence on their weapon systems. Every second counted, every move had to be flawless. Dr. Alina Voronov, the Aegis's chief engineer, joined Ethan at the holographic display. The energy signatures from their monitoring stations suggest they rely on a centralized power source, she explained, highlighting the data. If we can disrupt the primary node, the entire network will collapse. Ethan nodded. Good. That buys us time. What about their defenses? Based on their deployment patterns, their focus is outward, said Lieutenant Jackson Hall, the Aegis's tactical officer. They're expecting resistance from space, not from within their own formation. Ethan allowed himself a brief smile. Then let's give them a surprise. Into the void. As the Aegis ascended from its hidden base beneath the Antarctic ice, its cloaking systems activated, rendering the massive warship invisible to the alien fleet's sensors. The ship glided silently through the upper atmosphere, its quantum engines leaving no trace. On the bridge, the crew worked in tense silence, their eyes glued to their consoles. Approaching the first target, Lieutenant Hall reported, "Monitoring station Beta 3. Ethan leaned forward. "Dr. Voronov, is the EMP payload ready?" "Ready and calibrated," Alina replied. "One burst, and their power grid will short-circuit." "Fire on my mark," Ethan said, his voice steady. 3, 2, 1, mark. The Aegis's forward bay released a pulse torpedo, its quantum core designed to bypass alien shielding. The torpedo detonated just outside the station, sending a ripple of electromagnetic energy through its systems. On the crew screens, the alien station's lights flickered and died. "Target neutralized," Hall confirmed, his tone triumphant. But the victory was short-lived. The aliens react. "Multiple energy spikes," shouted Ensign Zara Patel, the ship's sensors officer. "They've detected the disruption and are redirecting their patrols." Ethan gritted his teeth. "They're faster than we anticipated. Helm, plot a course to the next station. We need to stay ahead of them." The Aegis accelerated, weaving through the void between the alien ships. The crew's adrenaline surged as they worked to disable one monitoring station after another. Each strike was a calculated gamble, a delicate balance of precision and speed. On board the alien flagship, Primarch Veltran received the reports with growing frustration. "How is this possible?" he demanded, his voice echoing in the command chamber. "This species lacks the technology to evade our sensors." Advisor Sillon stepped forward, her silver form shimmering with concern. "They are exploiting a weakness in our protocols. Their tactics suggest a level of coordination and intelligence that was not accounted for." Veltran's eyes narrowed. "Then it's time we stopped underestimating them." The battle escalates. As the Aegis closed in on its final target, the alien fleet began deploying interceptor drones. Sleek and deadly, these autonomous fighters moved with precision, their energy weapons capable of piercing most conventional defenses. "Drums inbound," Zara shouted. 3 squadrons closing fast. "Evasive maneuvers," Ethan barked. "Hall, deploy countermeasures." The Aegis's hull shimmered as it released a swarm of decoy drones, each one emitting a signal to confuse the alien targeting systems. The tactic worked momentarily, buying the crew precious seconds. "Returning fire," Hall announced, activating the ship's plasma turrets. The Aegis's weapons blazed to life, cutting through the alien drones with ruthless efficiency. But the battle was far from over. "Captain," Alina said, her voice tense. "The final station is deploying a shielding system. It's powered by a core we've never seen before." Ethan studied the data. "Can we disable it?" "Not with conventional weapons," she replied. "But if we modify the EMP payload, we might overload the core." "Do it," Ethan ordered. "We're not leaving until that station is down." A desperate gamble. The Aegis approached the final station, its hull scorched from the skirmishes. The alien fleet was closing in, their ships forming a blockade around the station. Ethan knew they had only one shot. EMP payload ready, Alina reported, but we'll need to get dangerously close to deploy it. Ethan clenched his fists. Helm, bring us in. Maximum stealth. The Aegis maneuvered through the blockade, its cloaking systems pushed to their limits. As the ship neared the station, the crew held their breath. One wrong move, and they'd be vaporized. Now, Ethan shouted. The modified EMP torpedo launched, streaking toward the station. The moment it struck, a massive wave of energy erupted, cascading through the alien systems. The station's shield collapsed, and its core detonated in a brilliant explosion. Cheers erupted on the bridge. The cost of victory. But their triumph came at a price. The explosion had disrupted the Aegis's cloaking systems, leaving the ship exposed. Alien ships swarmed toward them, their weapons charging. We're out of time, Ethan said grimly. Prepare for emergency warp. As the alien fleet closed in, the Aegis's engines roared to life. In a blinding flash, the ship vanished, leaving the aliens to survey the wreckage of their destroyed stations. Back at Atlas Command, Earth's leaders received the news with a mix of relief and trepidation. The first battle had been won, but the war was just beginning. On the bridge of the Aegis, Ethan addressed his crew. This is only the beginning, he said, his voice filled with determination. They came here thinking they could control us. Now they know what we're capable of, and we're just getting started. The galaxy was beginning to learn what it meant to provoke humanity, the unseen strength of humanity. The alien fleet loomed in Earth's orbit, but that air of superiority was beginning to crack. The destruction of their monitoring stations had sent shockwaves through their command structure. They were now on high alert, scanning the void with renewed vigilance, but the humans had vanished into the shadows, leaving behind only questions and smoldering wreckage. On board the ESS Aegis, Captain Ethan Reiner stood at the helm, watching the tactical display. Their escape had been narrow, the ship's cloaking systems barely functional, and the crew fatigued from their harrowing mission. Yet, despite the odds, they had succeeded. Ethan turned to his tactical officer, Lieutenant Jackson Hall, whose fingers danced over the console. What's their status, Hall? Have they reorganized? Hall nodded. Their fleet is repositioning around their command ship. Defensive formation, tighter this time. They're rattled. Dr. Alina Voronov entered the bridge, holding a datapad. We collected more data than we anticipated. Their energy grids, fleet movement algorithms, and communication protocols are more centralized than we thought. A critical weakness, if we can exploit it. Ethan's expression hardened. Then we hit them where it hurts. A risky proposal. In the underground chambers of Atlas Command, Earth's leaders convened for a high-stakes meeting. Holographic projections of key personnel from around the world flickered in the dimly lit room. General Marcus Steele, head of the Quantum Defense Initiative, addressed the group. The aliens' centralized systems make them efficient, but it's also their Achilles heel, Steele began. We now have the schematics of their command ship, thanks to the Aegis. If we can disrupt their command center, we could throw their entire fleet into disarray. Maria Alvarez, the UN Secretary General, leaned forward. You're suggesting an infiltration. Yes, Steele confirmed. A small, covert strike team aboard the Aegis, armed with EMP disruptors and quantum encryption viruses. If they can reach the command core, we can sever their fleet's coordination. The room erupted into debate. Some argued it was too dangerous, while others insisted it was humanity's best chance. Amidst the voices, Ethan's hologram appeared. His tone was resolute. We don't have the luxury of waiting, Ethan said. The longer we delay, the more entrenched they'll become. My crew is ready. Let us take the fight to them. After a tense silence, Alvarez nodded. You have our approval. Godspeed, Captain. The infiltration begins. The Aegis embarked on its most dangerous mission yet. The ship's engineers worked tirelessly to patch the cloaking systems, while Dr. Voronov modified the EMP disruptors to maximize their impact. Every member of the crew understood the stakes. Failure wasn't an option. As the Aegis approached the alien fleet, tension gripped the bridge. Cloaking systems stable, Hall reported. We're threading the needle here. The command ship, Astra Dominus, was a fortress in space, surrounded by patrolling drones and frigates. Its exterior gleamed with pulsating energy fields, and its design was a labyrinth of alien precision. Ethan addressed the crew. This isn't just about survival. It's about proving that humanity won't be cowed. Let's show them what we're capable of. The Aegis slipped past the outer defenses, its cloaking technology rendering it invisible to the alien sensors. The ship latched onto a docking bay, and the infiltration team, led by Ethan and Alina, prepared to board. Inside the beast, the alien interior was as imposing as their ships. Gleaming metallic walls pulsated with energy, and alien symbols flickered like living hieroglyphs. The team moved silently, their suits equipped with adaptive camouflage to blend into the surroundings. "Stay sharp," Ethan whispered. "We're in their domain now." The team's first challenge came in the form of automated drones patrolling the corridors. Using a combination of stealth and EMP grenades, they neutralized the threats, leaving no trace of their presence. As they approached the command core, the alien architecture grew more complex, with walls lined with glowing conduits that hummed with power. Alina stopped, examining the patterns. This isn't just infrastructure, it's part of their neural network. Their entire ship is like a living organism. "Can we use that to our advantage?" Ethan asked. Alina nodded. "If I can interface with their system, I can plant the virus directly into their network." The command core. Reaching the command core was no small feat. The final barrier was guarded by a group of alien soldiers, tall, imposing figures with sleek armor that shimmered like liquid metal. Their weapons, elegant yet lethal, emitted a low hum as they patrolled. Ethan signaled his team. "No room for error. Take them down quietly." The humans struck with precision, using silenced weapons and EMP pulses to incapacitate the guards before they could raise the alarm. With the area secured, Alina moved to the central console, her fingers deftly connecting a quantum uplink. As she worked, alarms suddenly blared. "They've detected us," shouted Lieutenant Hall over the comms. "Keep them off her," Ethan commanded, raising his weapon as alien reinforcements poured into the chamber. The firefight was intense. Human ingenuity clashed with alien precision as the team held their ground. Ethan's leadership shone as he coordinated the defense, covering Alina while she worked against the clock. "Almost there," Alina shouted, sweat dripping from her brow. "Just a few more seconds." A daring escape. Finally, the virus deployed. A surge of energy rippled through the ship, and the lights flickered. Alien commands devolved into static as their systems collapsed. Across the fleet, ships lost coordination, their formations breaking apart. "Mission accomplished," Alina declared. But their victory came at a cost. The alien reinforcements were overwhelming, and the Aegis's position was compromised. "We need an extraction now," Ethan shouted into his comm. The Aegis, despite taking heavy fire, powered into the docking bay and deployed a rescue team. The infiltrators scrambled aboard, narrowly avoiding capture. "Punch it," Ethan ordered as the ship's engines roared to life. The Aegis jumped into warp, leaving the alien command ship in chaos. Behind them, the Astra Dominus burned, its systems in disarray, while the rest of the fleet floundered without direction. A fragile victory. Back on Earth, the news of the mission's success spread quickly. Celebrations erupted, but the victory was tempered by the knowledge that the aliens would regroup and retaliate. In the war room of Atlas Command, Ethan addressed Earth's leaders. "We've shown them that humanity is not to be underestimated, but this war is far from over. They'll come back stronger, and we need to be ready. As Earth prepared for the next phase of the conflict, one thing was clear: humanity's spirit, ingenuity, and resilience were forces that no alien fleet could ever fully comprehend. And the galaxy was only beginning to understand the lengths humans would go to protect their home. The wrath of the Galactic Union. The Astra Dominus was a shadow of its former glory. Once the proud flagship of the Galactic Union, it now drifted in orbit, its systems fractured, its hull scarred. Inside the vast command chamber, Primate Veltron stood amidst the wreckage of holographic displays and charred conduits, his composure cracked for the first time in centuries. "They have defied us," he muttered, his voice a low growl. Around him, his advisors and officers remained silent, their silvery forms dimmed with shame. Advisor Sillon stepped forward cautiously. "Primate, their retaliation was unexpected." "Unexpected." Veltron's voice rose, his gaze piercing. "A primitive species bypassing our shields, infiltrating our core systems, and dismantling our fleet's coordination was not unexpected. It was a humiliation." The chamber fell silent. Veltron clenched his fists, his elongated fingers digging into his palms. "They have revealed their hand. Now we reveal ours." The Union's retaliation. On Earth, the brief moment of celebration had already faded. Humanity knew what was coming next. The Galactic Union was an empire spanning thousands of worlds, with resources and technology beyond comprehension. The destruction of their monitoring stations and the infiltration of their flagship would not go unanswered. At Atlas Command, Earth's leaders gathered for yet another emergency meeting. The room was tense, filled with a hum of holographic displays showing alien fleet movements. Secretary General Maria Alvarez looked around the room, her gaze landing on each face. "They're regrouping," she said. "Our intelligence suggests they're mobilizing their full force." General Marcus Steele nodded grimly. "Their retaliation will be swift and overwhelming. We need to prepare for an all-out assault." "Do we have any estimate on their timeline?" Captain Ethan Reiner's voice cut through the tension as his holographic form appeared. He was speaking from the ESS Aegis, now stationed in high orbit for quick deployment. Alina Voronov, also present via hologram, adjusted her glasses. "Based on the patterns we've observed, we have 72 hours before their reinforcements arrive. They'll likely target our key infrastructure first: communications, power grids, and military installations." Alvarez stood. "Then we have 72 hours to turn this planet into a fortress." Humanity's preparation. The call to arms echoed across the globe. For the first time in human history, nations worked as one. Factories transitioned to wartime production, churning out advanced weaponry and defense systems. Engineers worked around the clock to deploy quantum shielding around major cities, while scientists raced to refine Earth's new quantum-based weapons. In space, the hidden fleet, humanity's secret armada, began to emerge from its concealment. Massive warships, built in the hidden shipyards on the Moon and Mars, took their positions, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight. The ESS Perseus, the largest of these warships, docked alongside the Aegis. Its captain, Ariel Lockwood, was a veteran strategist known for her unorthodox tactics. Meeting Ethan in the Aegis's war room, she studied the battle plans. "They'll come with overwhelming force," she said. "We can't match them in numbers, but we can outmaneuver them. Hit their weak points and retreat before they can respond." Ethan nodded. "It's a game of endurance. If we can't hold them off, the planet's lost." The calm before the storm. As preparations continued, the world held its breath. Civilians were evacuated from vulnerable areas, while volunteers joined defense efforts in droves. In cities, people painted murals and raised banners, their messages defiant. "We will not bow." Ava Chen, the journalist who had become the face of Earth's resistance, broadcast messages of hope and resilience. Her voice carried across the airwaves. "We are not just fighting for survival. We are fighting for the right to define our own destiny. Let the galaxy know, humanity will not be silenced." On the Aegis, Ethan stood on the bridge, gazing at the stars. "It's quiet," he muttered. "Too quiet," Alina replied, standing beside him. "They're coming, and they'll make sure we feel it." The arrival. The alien fleet returned with a vengeance. Massive warships, far larger than those seen before, emerged from hyperspace, their arrival accompanied by blinding flashes of light. These ships bristled with weapons, their hulls glowing with energy fields designed to counter Earth's quantum-based attacks. The flagship of this new fleet, the Eminence Avaris, dwarfed even the Astra Dominus. It was a fortress in space, bristling with weaponry and cloaked in an energy field that shimmered like a mirage. As Earth's defense forces scrambled to respond, the alien fleet began its assault. Beams of energy lanced toward the planet, targeting military installations and key infrastructure. Quantum shields held, but only barely. The Aegis and the Perseus led the charge, their weapons blazing as they engaged the alien forces. "Target their forward cruisers," Captain Lockwood ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos. "We need to break their formation." The hidden fleet joined the battle, emerging from the shadows to unleash a devastating barrage on the alien ships. The skies above Earth became a maelstrom of light and fire as humanity fought to hold its ground. A desperate counterattack. Despite their best efforts, the alien fleet's sheer numbers began to overwhelm Earth's defenses. Ethan, aboard the Aegis, realized they needed a decisive move to turn the tide. "We need to take out the Eminence Avaris," he said. "It's the linchpin of their formation." Alina nodded. "Its energy field is formidable, but not invincible. If we can overload its core, the resulting cascade could cripple their fleet." The Aegis and Perseus spearheaded the assault, supported by a squadron of smaller ships. Under heavy fire, they approached the Eminence Avaris, their weapons targeting its energy field. The battle was fierce, with losses on both sides. As the Aegis closed in, Ethan gave the order. "Fire the disruptor payload, all power to weapons." The ship unleashed a devastating barrage, striking the alien flagship's energy core. The field flickered and then collapsed, exposing the ship's vulnerable interior. A Pyrrhic victory. With the Eminence Avaris vulnerable, Earth's forces concentrated their firepower, eventually destroying the massive ship in a spectacular explosion. The shockwave rippled through space, and the remaining alien ships began to retreat, their coordination shattered. Cheers erupted across the Aegis, but the victory was bittersweet. The cost had been immense, with heavy losses among Earth's forces. Cities lay in ruins, and the alien threat was far from eliminated. Ethan addressed his crew, his voice filled with both pride and sorrow. "We've shown them our strength, but this war is far from over. Rest now. Tomorrow, we prepare for what's to come." As Earth began to rebuild, one thing was clear. Humanity had proven it would not go quietly into the night. The galaxy now understood the wrath of a united and determined species. Humanity's hidden arsenal. The destruction of the Eminence Avaris was a turning point, but it was only the beginning. Earth had weathered the first wave of retaliation, yet the cost was staggering. Entire cities were left in ruins, millions displaced, and humanity's fledgling fleet significantly reduced. Still, in the face of unimaginable adversity, humanity refused to yield. In the cold expanse of space, the ESS Aegis drifted alongside the ESS Perseus, their hulls scared but operational. On board the Aegis, Captain Ethan Reiner stood in the war room, a grim expression etched across his face. Before him, a holographic map displayed the remnants of Earth's defensive forces and the known positions of the alien fleet. "They'll regroup," Ethan said, addressing the gathered crew and leadership via holograms from Atlas Command. Their retreat wasn't a surrender, it was a recalibration. Secretary General Maria Alvarez's voice came through the comms. "Do we have any intelligence on their next move?" Alina Voronov, working tirelessly at a console, answered without looking up. "Preliminary scans suggest they're regrouping at the edges of the solar system. They're consolidating their forces, likely waiting for reinforcements. Ethan nodded. Then we need to prepare. We can't afford another battle of attrition. We need a plan that forces them into a position they can't recover from. The revelation of Project Olympus. As Earth scrambled to rebuild and fortify its defenses, a secret that had been hidden even from most of Earth's leadership came to light. General Marcus Steele convened a classified meeting with Captain Rayner, Secretary General Alvarez, and a select few others. What I'm about to show you has been in development for over 2 decades, Steele began, activating a holographic display. A massive structure materialized, orbiting just beyond the asteroid belt. This is Project Olympus, humanity's ace in the hole. Ethan stared at the projection, his eyes narrowing. What is it? Steele's voice carried both pride and gravity. A battle station, fully armed, equipped with quantum disruptors, and powered by a fusion core capable of generating energy fields strong enough to rival anything the aliens can deploy. It was designed as a last resort. Alvarez frowned. Why wasn't this revealed earlier? Because activating it comes with risks, Steele admitted. Its power draw is immense, and it's still not fully operational. If the aliens detect it too soon, they'll target it before we can bring it online. Ethan studied the station's specifications. What's the plan? Steele's gaze hardened. We use it as a trap. Lure their fleet into a coordinated assault and unleash Olympus at full capacity. If it works, we'll break their fleet. The bait is set. To draw the aliens into the trap, Earth needed to stage an act of bold defiance. The hidden fleet, now under the joint command of Ethan and Captain Aria Lockwood, was tasked with launching coordinated strikes on key alien outposts in the solar system. These outposts, hastily established during the initial invasion, were critical for the aliens' supply lines and reconnaissance. The first target was a massive resource processing station on Europa, Jupiter's icy moon. The mission was high risk. The station was heavily fortified and guarded by several alien warships. We'll strike fast and leave no trace, Ethan briefed the combined crews of the Aegis and Perseus. The goal isn't just to destroy the station, it's to make them angry enough to chase us. The operation began with the Aegis and Perseus slipping into Europa's orbit under cloak. Dr. Voronov had spent days fine-tuning the cloaking systems to ensure they would evade even the enhanced alien sensors. As the ships approached the station, they launched a barrage of quantum torpedoes, obliterating the facility in seconds. The alien response was immediate. Patrol ships emerged from nearby positions, opening fire on the retreating human vessels. The Aegis and Perseus darted through the chaos, their advanced maneuvering systems keeping them just out of reach. Message received. Aria quipped as the ships jumped to warp, leaving behind only debris and unanswered questions. The final assembly. Back at Atlas Command, preparations for the activation of Project Olympus reached a fever pitch. Engineers worked around the clock to bring the station's systems online. On the ground, teams of scientists collaborated to enhance the quantum disruptors, ensuring they could penetrate even the aliens' most advanced defenses. Meanwhile, humanity's scattered forces regrouped at key strongholds around the solar system. Mars, once a symbol of human ambition and exploration, became a critical hub for logistics and military operations. Hidden beneath its red sands were shipyards churning out new vessels for the fleet. Aboard the Aegis, Ethan and Alina reviewed the final battle plans. The aliens will come at us with everything they have, Alina said, her tone grave. If Olympus falters. It won't, Ethan interrupted, because it can't. Aria joined them, her usual calm replaced with a rare seriousness. We're putting all our chips on this one hand. If we fail, Earth won't get another chance. Ethan met her gaze. Then we don't fail. The battle for Olympus. The alien fleet arrived in force, their ships blotting out the stars as they descended upon the asteroid belt. At their head was a new flagship, the Supremacy Ascendant, an awe-inspiring vessel larger and more heavily armed than anything humanity had faced before. Earth's fleet met them head-on, with the Aegis and Perseus leading the charge. The battle was a spectacle of fire and light, with energy beams crisscrossing the void and explosions lighting up the darkness. In the midst of the chaos, Project Olympus came online. The battle station emerged from the shadows, its colossal structure dwarfing even the Supremacy Ascendant. Its weapons roared to life, firing concentrated quantum disruptor beams that tore through alien ships like paper. The aliens, caught off guard, scrambled to adjust their tactics. But Olympus was unrelenting. Its shielding absorbed their counterattacks, and its firepower systematically dismantled their fleet. A price paid in blood. Victory came at a heavy cost. Many of Earth's ships, including the Perseus, sustained severe damage. Captain Lockwood was critically injured during a direct hit to the bridge, leaving Ethan to coordinate the fleet's final push. With the Supremacy Ascendant crippled, the remaining alien ships began to retreat. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and now they paid the price. As the dust settled, the surviving members of Earth's fleet gathered near Olympus. Ethan addressed the crews, his voice broadcast across all channels. Today, we proved that humanity will not bow. We may be small compared to the vastness of the galaxy, but we are fierce, resilient, and unyielding. This is not the end of the fight, but it is the beginning of a future we will carve with our own hands. Cheers erupted across the fleet. Humanity had struck a blow, not just for survival, but for its rightful place among the stars. The aftermath. As Earth rebuilt once more, messages of solidarity poured in from distant colonies, and even a few independent alien factions who had long resented the Galactic Union's dominance. The war wasn't over, but humanity had made its mark. In the cold silence of space, Project Olympus stood as a testament to human ingenuity and determination, a beacon of hope against the darkness.